Good morning, you guys. It is Amanda and Barron with Kickin Cancer Cares on KSLM Radio, 104.3 FM and 1220 AM. Our sponsor for this first half is Odd Moe's Pizza. Now, I got a little crazy with my dieting and just, kind of, I'm hungry and this is what I want, so I'm going to eat it, and that's that.
Yeah.
And I've had to kind of pull back and re-teach myself control boundaries with my own wants and needs.
Okay.
And so the other day the kids wanted Odd Moe's Pizza. And it was like, I can't say no to Odd Moe's, So they got just a classic pepperoni is what they wanted. And I went with a Greek salad. It was so delicious. Ooh. It was good for me. I didn't feel like I was being too naughty and just kept it really clean. Oh, and then my boy wanted the mac and cheese. He was like, you've talked about that mac and cheese. I want to try it because he loves mac and cheese anywhere we go. And I'm like, okay. He loved it. Absolutely loved it. So huge shout out to Mike.
You guys kind of covered all the bases. Salad, mac and cheese.
I guess
salad.
You're right. We did. We did indeed. Yeah. It's kind of my go-to on Saturdays for lunch for the kids. It's so easy. It's good for you. They've got so many healthy options while still being, tending to the kids and their wants and needs as well. So yeah. Huge shout out to Mike. Absolutely awesome, Odd Moe's.
Appreciate all that Mike does for the show.
We really do.
We had a great guest last week. Allie came in and we talked about nutrition.
Yes.
So we had Allie Virtue come in and we talked about really how to eat healthy through the holidays.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And portion control, but also mindfulness of what we're eating. Mm-hmm. Big takeaway for you on that whole interview?
I think, honestly, it seems probably pretty small, but how she said, think about, is it worth it after you've had it?
Yeah.
Because, what did you gain after you've had it? Sure, you want to indulge in that whole pie or eat all of those mashed potatoes at one sitting, but then afterwards you don't feel good about yourself. And that's kind of what I really applied to myself. And it's I need to get back on track. I've kind of lost my portion control and everything that I've worked so hard to do it. I've just been kind of, I want that, I'm going to have it.
Right.
And it's but I don't feel good at the end of the day when I do that. And so I've had to really pull back. And so actually listening to her gave me a lot of good advice on, is that worth it? Am I going to feel good with that? I can still enjoy what I want and still control the amount I'm putting into my body and still be at a healthy with what the calories I'm consuming and all of that and still be able to enjoy the holidays.
Well, I think that's really good advice is, is it worth it in the end?
Yeah.
Whatever you did.
Because normally at the end of the day, it's I feel like I could roll myself to bed.
Just too much.
You overeat to a point where it's you feel sick.
Yeah.
You've consumed so much sweets, so much sugar, so many carbs and calories that you're just, you truly don't feel good. And that's not, and then it's just wow, I really overdid it. That first bite tasted as good as the last bite. I would,
just call it good and call it good.
Have control. Set boundaries for yourself because it's not necessary to eat yourself sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been trying to apply that a lot lately since last week.
Well, I'm going to get into our food, but I do want to introduce our guest. We've got Russ back for the third time, I believe, or the fourth time, something like that.
I don't know, but thank you for having me back.
Yes,
it's always,
welcome back.
That means something to me, at least. Yeah, they don't say keep Russ away.
Yeah.
No, keep him coming back.
Well, there's a big reason that I want him to be here with us today because, and we'll get more into this in the second half of the show. But you have a book signing today.
A book signing this Saturday.
Yeah, and
that's awesome.
It's in Albany.
Yes, Willamette Valley Christian Supply. It's going to be awesome. Actually, it's my second book signing there. This one is with a whole bunch of authors, and also Kevin and Krista that own Willamette Valley Christian Supply are having a Hallmark celebration. Part of what they carry at the store. Their store is amazing. And so, it's going to be a lot of fun. I love to talk to the other authors, too. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we'll get into his book in the next half of the show. But
okay, perfect.
Our food, kind of fitting with the colors that we all have on today, is black pepper.
Oh, I use that on everything.
All the time. This says, grab the pepper mill. This kitchen staple reduces blood markers of inflammation.
Oh, wow.
And using it with other spices can enhance its benefits. We talked about combining in a few shows ago, right?
Interesting.
The peppering in black pepper has been shown to significantly boost the absorption of curcumin, the compound responsible for turmeric's vibrant hue.
Okay.
Which possesses potential anti-inflammatory properties. In human research, consuming curcumin curcumin alone resulted in blood levels of that were either undetectable or very low, but the addition of the pepperin, which comes from the black pepper, increased it viability by 2,000%.
Wow.
So very good to add that to your foods.
Okay.
I'm glad I like pepper, and
Yeah.
that's curcumin, because I take that as well, the curcumin. And so obviously the pepper that I love on food helps with that.
Yeah.
They kind of, complement one another.
That's right.
So you take that specifically by itself.
I do. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
It does a lot of good things for your immune system. It also helps fight cancer. There's a whole bunch of things. I take some natural supplements, so definitely good. And obviously, we could talk about that later, but I've learned a lot about eating good over the last few years.
Yeah.
Well,
important.
I think maybe a good time to just give people an update on how you're doing. I think it was about 3 years ago when I got the news that your cancer wasn't in a very good place. And we tried to step in and help out a little bit back then. And then you kind of got through this journey over the last 3.5 years.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. But just to start with what you asked, an update. It's a big praise God, because the last scans I had in October, they got MRI and PET scan, and they said, "Didn't you have cancer?" So no sign of disease.
Yes.
So praise God for that. And also, it had been 10 months without any treatment.
Oh.
So I was only naturally taking care of myself, eating right, and taking some supplements and things, but no treatment, because honestly, the treatment was killing me faster than the cancer was. And my doctor said, yeah, this has got to stop. And I said, I'm glad you said that. This is why I love my doctors. Glad you said it, because I was going to say it's got to stop too.
Yeah.
Because, yes, it's shutting down organs, and I have only so many organs to shut down.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the treatment was really brutal on you, wasn't it?
Well, it did shut down a lot of my body. So it started with shutting down my pancreas, so I became a type 1 diabetic because of the treatment. And then I shut down my thyroid, it shut down my adrenal glands. And I found that your pancreas and your adrenal glands are really useful to live. If they don't function properly, you die.
Oh.
So that's why I got one of these fancy little, my doctors had me get one of these fancy little medical alert bracelets, so people know how to handle me based on the type 1 diabetic and on the adrenal insufficiency. So those things. It also shut down so I said my thyroid, and it also...
And your pancreas was...
Yes, we're going to do that really quickly. It was shutting down all kinds of things. Also affected my hearing. So I'm down to 20% of understanding. Affected my eyes. In fact, my eyes are having problems again. I'm having trouble seeing again. So it affected my eyes. It affected so many things. So I take pills for a lot of it.
Right.
That takes care of the things. But and also had a lot of digestive issues. Which was another issue that I had. So it's just been a lot of things to take care of. But hey, I can learn how to deal with those things. There's medication and things that help you live, even though you have those. And pretty much if cancer is bad enough, you don't live. So so I am just praising God for that, and I'm believing for healing on the other things, honestly. But in the meantime, I'm learning how to deal with it.
But now you're 10 months with no medication.
That's
and
huge.
According to the last scan, no evidence of disease.
No evidence of disease. And, I still go every quarter. So next month I'll go in and I'll have scans again. And I'm really thankful. Some people say, oh, that really worries me every time you go in. Am I going to have cancer again? I don't think that way. I go in expecting good news.
Yeah.
But if they tell me something, if they say, hey, cancer showed up, because what happened was a year and 4 months ago, whatever it is, of August, not this last August, but a year ago, I walked in being cancer-free at that point after surgery for them to tell me, we see something we don't like, and it turned into stage 4 cancer because it had gone to my lungs and my brain. Mm-hmm. And so, but within this year and a little bit since then, I'm with no cancer again. So that's just amazing. So I'm so thankful. But, it really, a lot of it has to do with how I approach things. That's what my new book's about. How I'm looking at life. And my doctor told me at the very beginning that my positive attitude and my perspective on life was going to be the best thing for me. Mm-hmm. That nothing they could do would be as good as my attitude.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, you mentioned your book. This is your second book.
Yeah, actually, it's my 6th book, but it's my 2nd solo
Sixth
book.
Okay.
Wow.
So I did my first book, BeFuddled, Live the Life You Choose. That's the hand motion, so do that with me. Ready?
Okay.
BeFuddled, Live the Life You Choose. That's the first book. Then I did, because of my cancer journey, it kind of slowed down my second book. I was planning to do it, but it slowed it down. In fact, it put a halt on it at times. But these anthologies I did, I only had to write 1 chapter. And somebody else took care of all the heavy lifting, meaning that they edited it, sent it back to me, I looked at it, made sure it was good. They put the book together, they published it, they did all that. So I did 4 of those, which were international bestsellers, #1 on Amazon, great books, a lot of fun, but it was easy for me to do. Finally, this last year, at the beginning of 25, God was saying, man, you got to get going and get this book done. It's very important. People need this book. It's going to inspire and encourage thousands, he was telling me, around the world. So I said, okay. I said, does that mean, so God, I know you're not done with me yet, but does that mean that when I get done with this, then maybe you're done with me here? And I heard nothing, but I said, I'll just do it. I'll do it. And so I got done. The month after I published my book, I went and had those scans and found out no sign of cancer.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I said, thank you.
Yes, yes.
But when I go back January, you never know. I mean, they could say, hey, cancer's shown back up. I do not expect that. But if it did, I would just, hit it head on and say, what are we going to do? We're going to hit it on with prayer, or we're going to do other kinds of treatment. What are we going to do? So, yeah.
And I think it is important to continue those quarterly check-ins because for me, I'm a planner. I want to know. I would rather know than not know. And it's like, let's get those scans. So that way, if something does show up, you nip it in the butt sooner than later than, yearly scans or every 6-month scans. It's so I'm with you on that 100%.
Well, if you do not know and something is brewing, it's going to be a lot worse.
Exactly.
So I've had friends that have gone down to once every year or a couple of year scans because they're like 20-year survivors. I had a super great friend. And she sent me a Father's Day card last year. Everybody's behind you, Russ. I love you. I'm behind you. I'm supporting you. And later that month, she didn't feel really good. Came back from vacation with her husband. Went to the doctor. She had been a breast cancer survivor like 20 plus years. And they found out it suddenly came back, but this time it was in her bones and her lungs and other things. Inside of 2 months, she was gone.
Wow, because she wasn't getting scans as frequently.
Yeah, it just, and so, but I mean, you get to a point where they do that. They stretch it out, which makes sense.
Right.
We've gone this long without it, so they don't need to do it quarterly all the time. But for me, it's going to be this way at least a couple more years.
Good.
And so they'll be keeping a close eye on it and see where I'm at.
Good.
And I have quarterly skin checks. I just went to my dermatologist. They check my whole body, make sure that there's nothing brewing, because it started
skin cancer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one time when you came in with us and you were in the middle of your treatments and you were having a hard time even standing. You were really tired and I was worried, lots of prayers, and I really wasn't sure. And so it's so awesome to see you on the other side of things completely. It's really awesome.
Well, I appreciate that. And, I definitely have my good moments. So, I have energy in the morning, and then in the afternoon I sleep.
Yeah. Hey, that's fair.
But I've learned how to take better care of myself. So not just eating.
Yeah.
But there's so many things, people say, I feel like I'm wasting time if I'm sleeping. No, you're not. You're actually taking care of your body because your body needs a certain amount of sleep, and I need more than the average bear.
Right.
So I need to make sure and get plenty of rest. Otherwise, I'm shut down. So like when I told you all I went to a concert the other night. Well, nights are not good for me.
Right.
And if
you're usually shutting down about 7:00, right?
Yeah, it started at 7. And so I would not, at the concert, we weren't home till 10.
Oh,
so,
boy.
I mean, I would not have survived. I slept most of the afternoon.
Yeah.
And so then I just offset. So I'm able to do that. So I build up energy, and I did have a cup of coffee on top of that.
Yep.
So there I went back.
You planned accordingly.
There you go. Another morning, woke up and had another cup of coffee. So.
That's a hard thing for people to realize is that you do need to sleep so your body has time to repair itself.
Yes.
And they recommend 5 to 7 hours of sleep. I know that's really hard for some people to get. And it does feel like sometimes like, why am I just wasting time by sleeping? But you do need to respect sleep a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm an early riser, and I haven't really been able to change that. So my body just wakes up at a certain time.
Are you a 5 a.m. waker?
I'm a 4 a.m. riser, but I've got myself to stay in bed sometimes to 4:30 or 5, if I'm really pushing it, which is good for me. But I also go to bed earlier. So I used to stay up till 10, 11 at night. Now I'm in bed by 7:38 in the morning, at night, so that I get a really good night's sleep. So I get that full night's rest.
Yep.
And then I always take a nap every day and rest. And so that helps me. And then I eat good. I'm taking vitamins, supplements. I'm eating well. And the type 1 diabetes has actually been a huge help with that. Because you have to reduce your carbs, you have to reduce the stuff you eat. And the cancer also, the type of foods you eat are really important. So I just have learned to be a much better eater. Not that I never have pizza, not that I never have ice cream or something, but it's so little of that because, I know that my blood work is going to spike, if I do that. So I have to be willing to,
You're more aware of what you're eating and what it's going to do to your body.
What's your favorite thing that you eat right now?
Well, we just had Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is probably one of my favorites. Stuffing at Thanksgiving is one of my very favorites. And also my mama's meatloaf. So my father-in-law just had his 91st birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
And he wanted my mama's meatloaf because she made the world's greatest meatloaf. And my beautiful wife made it like 2 years ago, the first time that she made it for her parents. And we took it to them and he was like blown away. It's just like to die meatloaf. It's way better than your average meatloaf. So, but it's also full of major carbs.
Right.
So that and the stuffing are two of my favorites that are the highest in carbs. But I have learned to love things like really good salads with lots of good stuff in them.
Yeah.
Meats, lots of meats. Like we went to the coast this last weekend and I got salmon. Salmon's really good for you.
Good for you.
So is any kind of chicken, fish, even beef. All those things are good carb-wise for your body.
Yeah.
Because there's virtually no carbs in them. So those kind of things, it's good for me.
Is this a lot that you educated yourself after getting the cancer?
Yeah. I knew nothing, man. I just ate like... So
whatever you wanted.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You were talking about, so I grew up with a mama who cooked so much and encouraged me to eat. And I had a metabolism that just burned it right off. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have to worry about it. And I would eat till I was sick. But to me, that was a pleasant mode. And so I get married to my beautiful wife and she makes a dinner. And I'm out in the living room on the couch going, oh. And she goes, are you okay? I said, oh, I'm great. Great. She goes, what's wrong? I ate too much. She goes, and you're great. Yes. It was so good. It was so good. But the problem was my mindset had been set to eating improperly and not eating good.
Right.
So I learned as I got older that I couldn't eat that way because then I started to put on a few pounds.
Yep.
And then with the cancer journey, I just have to get my mindset into things that I like that work within a good, balanced diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about this first book you had, Russ. What was the first book you wrote? Not
Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose.
Yep. Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose.
Oh, and I forgot to show you guys, the new book is Life Happens and Then You Choose. So it's life happens
and then you choose.
There you go.
And for those that are listening, you can't see our little actions, so you're going to want to go to the YouTube channel, Kickin Cancer Productions, and find us on YouTube and watch these actions because they go along with the books.
Yeah. So Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose was really about not living your life befuddled, out of sorts, in disarray, but to live the life you choose. And so many people said to me when that book came out, I can't live the life I choose. I can't choose what happens to me. And I would tell everybody, you're 100% right. You can't choose what happens to you, but when it happens, life is going to happen, but then you choose. Mm-hmm. So I started using that phrase. That's what spurred the second book on.
So what inspired the first book?
The first book was the Befuddled came from my beautiful wife. One morning I was out of sorts and I was tripping and dropping things, trying to leave the house late for a meeting. And she looked at me, she goes, honey, are you okay? I said, I'm fine. Because that was my go-to, right? I'm fine. And she said, no, really, because you look kind of befuddled, she said. That was exactly what she said. And I said, I am not befuddled. And I left the house. I'm 1 mile down the street. I'm thinking, I'm befuddled. I mean, she's right. She's always right. I'm befuddled. And so I called her back and said, you're right. I'm befuddled, but I'm okay now. And so the Live the Life You Choose is really me. And so I thought, why not put those two together? And the name was great. People loved it.
Yeah.
You know? And so anyway, it was a lot of fun. And that was what the book was all about, was making good choices in your life when things were happening and all of that. But a lot of it wasn't around. I hadn't had cancer. My parents were, I'm trying to remember. My parents were still alive when I wrote that book. And so then this next book had a lot more things that had really happened. Both my parents had passed, gone through cancer, dementia, all of that, and Alzheimer's. And, I also pulled from a car accident I had years ago where I almost died at 19. So that's actually in both books, but it is about, they had to stop all traffic on 9090 in Canby, Oregon. Stop everything, fly a helicopter in, lifeline me to the hospital where a team of trauma surgeons were ready, and they barely saved my life.
Wow.
And it was the grace of God that saved my life. And so
you were 19 when that happened?
19. So it was right after my first year of college.
Okay.
Wow. I had just finished Oregon State my freshman year. And so it happened July 9th. And what was really interesting was it was so horrific that I was in, intensive care for quite a bit of time. And then I got moved into the regular hospital. I had really bad brain trauma. So I lost all memory for 2.5 weeks of my life.
Wow.
It was just short of 3 weeks, I think. They actually sent me home. And a lot of that might have been that my parents were there every day and my dad was telling them what they should be doing because my parents cared so much, but they were awesome. And so they decided he's got good care. We're going to send him home. But I told them I'm going back to Oregon State. So take the timeline here. Now we're like to August and school's going to start in a month and a half. And they look at me and just laugh. They laugh. They say, you are crazy. There's no way. They didn't actually use those words because that's politically incorrect. But they told me I was losing it, that I was not going to go back to school. And I said, no, I am absolutely going back to school. It's my choice. I'm going back to school. And so they said, well, we'll put you through some testing. And if you pass the test, we'll give you our blessing. And so I passed the test with flying colors. Your
parents are giving you this test.
No, the hospital.
The hospital.
Because in the hospital, I had to learn to walk again.
Yeah.
Talk again.
Wow.
Move again. I had severe brain trauma. Like you said, I didn't know anything. I don't remember anything for 2.5 weeks.
And that's a long time.
It's a long time. So all these things happen. And so, but it's a sign of God's blessing. And I was resilient in there, and I was determined. Mm-hmm. And so I used that story along with other things in my first book. But I just talked about, you can choose. Life's going to happen to you. Things are going to go good and bad. You get to choose where you go. And then I give some action steps and things that I do to help people, and so it was very good. And so second book is similar in the fact that it's really inspiring, but it's got a whole lot more between my cancer journey. And we can talk more about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then these, tell me a little bit more. We got a couple minutes here before we're done this first half. These anthologies, are these just little snippets of you in another book, somebody else's book?
So it's one chapter in the book. So some books are bigger, some are smaller, but there was 4 of them that I did. One was based around cancer.
Okay.
But all of them had some piece of my cancer journey in it because it was going on during these books.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But it also has a bunch of other authors, which is cool. And so they wrote a chapter. And then these books were published. And like I said, they were international bestsellers, #1 on Amazon. So I became an international bestselling author by doing those.
Gotcha.
It was a lot of fun because my first book, I didn't know what I was doing. I had a lot of friends helping me, but it was never a bestseller. Because I didn't know how to make it a bestseller.
Yeah.
My new book has been a #1 on Amazon and bestseller and all that. But then again, I had people that knew a little bit more this time. But yeah, so the other books are very, very interesting. So if you come to the book signing, just like my last one, I have my other books as well. And people bought my old books as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
awesome. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break, but first I want to shout out Oddmo's Pizza. And pizza doesn't have to be unhealthy, especially at Oddmo's. So I am going to actually read you guys. So they have the Green Monster, which is artichoke pesto. So it's artichoke hearts, fresh spinach, tomatoes, chopped garlic, feta, and mozzarella cheese with their basil pesto sauce. And you can get it on cauliflower crust.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be a naughty pizza. You can indulge in good pizza with it being healthy for you. And then they also have the classic veggie. So it's fresh mushrooms, red onions, black olives, green peppers, mozzarella cheese, fresh tomatoes on their red sauce. And again, you can put that on cauliflower crust. And you can even change out the sauces and stuff. So definitely go check them out. They've got amazing pizza, fresh ingredients. And they also have some stuff, that you can indulge in for the kids. salads, like their mac and cheese. They've got all kinds of, they've got Mojos. They've got the potato poppers that are not deep fried. They're baked and they're amazing. They've got all 3 different types of salads. They've got pastas. They have everything. I freaking love their menu. It's amazing.
It's healthy and healthier options.
Yes, I love that. So go check them out, you guys. We'll be right back. Stay tuned for more.